Please help us. You just down
What's this line here, girl? You got a problem here, guy?
Hey, all you Scream fans, this was the big weekend for Scream 6. They actually come out over the weekend. And I'm actually glad they did what they did, because it was supposed to come out at the end of March. I know it's only 2 weeks, of course, but it felt like it was came here even more sooner. And I was happy camper, and I know all you guys are big Scream fans, so probably happy about that this as well too. Okay, so anyways, this is a spoiler-free review of the Scream 6. There's a lot I can actually say, which I probably would think down the line really soon I might do a video of spoiler, that way I can spill everything, spill the whole beans out, and just give you everything. But of course, I'm not going to do that in this video. There's a lot I want to say about it. But let me just say off the bat before I start off here, be sure to watch your Scream movies before watching this movie, because there's a connection to every single one. Going back to even the first Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 5. I'm going to call it Scream 5, even though it's called Scream. That way, don't get confused with the original title back in '96. Okay, so where do I start from here? After just mentioning it all, where you have to see all those movies, let me go back to Scream 4 for a second, because if there was a sole survivor in that, if you remember Kirby, she actually survived the terror, the bloodbath that happened at Scream 4. Jill, yes, did not make it. I know I've heard things about this as well too, that the fifth one was going to be revolved around Jill, but they actually did kill her off on Scream 4. I guess Wes Craven actually wanted her to be a sole survivor just as well too, to continue on with the fifth one, but that didn't happen. And that Scream movie, the next Scream movie didn't come out until like 10 years later, believe it or not. So going into this new generation with Scream movie, we have a whole new cast that came out last year. We have the Carpenter sisters, Tara and Sam, who are the prime targets of Ghostface is going after. And we also we have their friends as well too. And going into this Scream 6 movie, there were a couple of soul survivors even just as well in that Scream from last year just as well. So we have those twins that, believe it or not, what was it, Randy's, what was it, their uncle. I believe that's how, if I'm saying that right, because, yeah, that uncle. Randy was their uncle. And of course, you know by Scream 2 that Ghostface got to him at the college, of course. But let me just give you a brief refresh of everything else as well, what's going on here too, this as well. I'm going to give you a little spoiler with Scream, the last Scream, of course. Of course, it's been over a year now. But if you remember, the whole cast, the legacy characters came back just as well too. We had Sidney, Gail Weathers, and Deputy Duty. Deputy Duty, I did not make it out of the last Scream movie. That was really sad. But going into this Scream 5, the reason I bring that up is because we now have only Gail Weathers, believe it or not, the legacy character that's actually in Scream 6. We have heard Sidney, there was trouble issues with why to bring Sidney back, but I completely understand the issues around that just as well too. But I actually feel that they didn't need Sidney in this movie, believe it or not, because they really focused on the Carpenter's sisters, Tara and Sam, and they're moved over to New York to attend college. Along with that too, the soul survivors, this as well too, the twins actually went with them this as well too. So we have what they mentioned in this movie, the core four. Little clever thing, kind of like a Marvel DC sort of thing for being soul survivors from the last movie. But they also meet new characters in this movie too. They got roommates, personal lovers, so on, the psychologist. So it's all based on detective, and there's a detective in here too. So it's all based on who you actually trust and what's going on in this story. And pretty much, the whole story pretty much focuses on, since I mentioned the Carpenter sisters, it's about the connection between Tara and Sam, getting back to a connection after those terrifying events that happened in the last Scream movie, believe it or not. And moving on to college. Since Tara would like to achieve her academics at the college, Sam does want the same thing, but she wants the same thing just as well too. It seems like she's like a mother to Tara in this movie, believe it or not, and that's exactly what's going on here. But of course, what does happen? Ghostface following him up to the college, just like they did in Scream 2. But this time, it's the big city of New York, which I feel this is where they get a lot of good, intense scenes as well, too, because it's the city that never sleeps as well, too. And even if you scream, no one's not going to hear it. or pay attention to it. I did some research this as well too. New York is one of those places, if something happens, sometimes people don't actually get involved with it, which I heard that about the subway thing just the other day. What's up with that? If I saw something, I would deal with it, wouldn't you? I don't want to get in the middle of it. But going into this movie, Scream 6, I just thought, when I mentioned all that, the intensity brought a really good, there was a subway scene that was really good, intense. And you got to see the shrine this as well too, which is really cool. All the list of ghost faces of this as well from the previous Screams. I'm not giving anything away because this is the stuff that you actually see in the trailer of the movie. And there's a little more to it that there is, so I'm going to shut my mouth with that. I'm hopefully doing another video with this as well, this as well too. So we do realize that in Scream 4, the sole survivor of Kirby actually came back, and she's actually with the FBI as a detective. I was kind of scratching my head about that one, thinking, is this really, or is this just an act? So could we actually trust Kirby in this movie? I don't know. And I'm glad they really brought back Kirby, because I know every Scream fan knew that she'd be a survivor, because she was still rolling around on the ground in Scream 4 after Charlie stabbed her multiple times. She could have died. Yeah, they even say a couple of things about that incident thing in this movie as well. Kirby mentions the whole thing and why she's back actually in this movie to try to pin down that ghost face that really terrorized, pretty much terrorized her that whole entire time. She's been dramatized as well too, just like anyone of like Tara, Sam, and the sole survivors of the last Scream. Any of the last Screams, I gotta say. And with Sydney out of the picture with this one, I really think they really didn't need a Sydney in this movie. They did a really good job, but I hope if they move on to Scream 7, which I think they probably will, I really hope they get Sydney back into the picture, Nev Campbell, and I actually give a nice little close to the Scream franchise. Probably once this is closed, farther down the line, they'll probably make more Screams, but overall, I really like this movie a lot. Everything about it was cool. The subway, when you saw that in the trailer, they pinned out a couple of villains from other movies as well too. Where we got Michael Myers, Jason, Pinhead. And this name of the list of any villain you can actually think of, it will actually be on that subway train with you, along with a ghost face. And there's a multiple ghost face. You don't know which one you actually trust, or if it's all of them or what. So I just had a really good time with this movie, but it's the last 10 minutes I thought was a little sloppy. I was kind of hoping for a better end, and who actually Ghostface actually was. I understand who this Ghostface was and why they did what they were doing throughout the movie, of course. But I was really stretching on something and somebody else. And it's just, I don't know. I will. In other words, I did think the way they set it off with the ghost face, I guess, yes, I would actually, I do get that concept of why they actually did what they did. But anyways, I know, shh, I'm keeping my mouth shut. This movie just came out over the weekend, so I'm not going to ruin it for you guys. But I'm really want to do a spoiler video for those who've actually seen the movie. So for those who have actually seen the movie, what do you guys actually think about the movie? This movie live up to expectations for you guys? Leave some comments down below. I'd like to hear what you guys got to say. But other than that, I can start wrapping things up saying, my name's Ryan. Thank you for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. And I know there's going to be a lot of Scream talk further into next year, because I don't really guarantee there will be a Scream 7, because they kind of left little clues at the end that there's a great story they can actually work with. So post scene, there is a post scene in this. Be prepared to stay for the credits, okay? Okay, my name's Ryan. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
You want me, so let's finish this.